The traditional analysis divides the basic idea into two parts: A and B. The rest of the phrase structural analysis continues as follows. The two-bar basic idea, composed of motives A and B, is repeated a tone higher and supported by dominant harmony. The two-measure idea is then broken down into its constituent parts, a process often called fragmentation, and only motive B is left to be repeated twice before the climax of the phrase is reached at measure 7. This leads to a half cadence, marked as C in the score, where none of the recognizable motivic material remains. This is a result of the process termed liquidation by Arnold Schoenberg, where motives are gradually broken down until they are no longer recognizable, and simply represent a basic or formulaic gesture, in this case, a descending scale. With a basic understanding of the concrete structure in place, we must now ask ourselves how this can inform an interpretation. In order to demonstrate the relevance of this understanding to performance, let us look at the overall shape of the phrase. Although there is no crescendo marked, several musical elements contribute to the fact that a gradual increase in tension is taking place, only to be relieved following the climactic harmony on the downbeat of measure 7. The first element is the dominant harmony that supports the repetition of the two-bar basic idea. With the leading tone in the bass and the presence of a diminished fifth in the harmony, this chord represents a small accent between two fairly stable tonic harmonies. When the tonic harmony returns at measure 5, Beethoven is careful to let us know that we are not, as we may have thought, back home safely. He throws our anticipation of comfort and resolution into question with a sforzando on the downbeat that is approached by a grace note. This melodic accent sets into motion an increase in harmonic rhythm, which now proceeds at a rate of one harmony per measure, as opposed to one harmony every two measures, and supports the energy created by the breaking down of the basic idea. Other elements that contribute to this rise in tension are the rising bass and the rising soprano. This leads us to the more general principle of concrete interpretation. Being aware of these elements, and more importantly the reasoning behind them, the performer can now interpret based on musical facts. For example, if a slight emphasis is placed on the neighboring dominant chord at measures 3 and 4, the performer may create the illusion of a return to stability with a slight diminuendo at the end of measure 4. This will enhance the shock of the sforzando on the downbeat of measure 5 and can be logically supported by the objective musical source, the score. This method is advantageous because it allows for an infinite variety of interpretations that are all based in musical fact. As such, one can remain faithful to the intentions of the composer while bringing the work to life in a unique and imaginative way.